Good morning everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Now today, as promised, I'm going to do the swatch comparisons. I have been surrounded by every single palette of Charlotte Tilbury's that she's ever bought out, bar one that was bought out on special edition before I started collecting, and I've forgotten the name of it, but I'm not going to tell you anyway because I put a quiz up on Instagram and I'll look it up later. I always forget the name of it. Anyway, that's beside the point. But what I want to do today, as promised, is to do some swatch comparisons of the Pillow Talk New Instant Eye Palette, which is this one here, as you can see. Okay, now I'm going to start off by comparing them with Charlotte Tilbury palettes. And I think I'm not going to have time today. I did say that I would have a look at Naked 3 because someone mentioned Naked 3, and I also would like to compare these ones to the Too Faced Peachy Matte palette. But I'm going to have to do that on another day because just getting through all of Charlotte's palettes took me about an hour, which is fine. I love doing it. Don't worry. It's the best job in the world, this. Okay, so let's get going with this. I went through palette by palette and I have now narrowed it down, and I'm going to do that. And then afterwards, I'm going to get rid of these awful bags under my eyes and I'm going to do another look. And I think today I will go for the day look. I'm going to have a go at doing the day look. And then all that's left for me to do is the date look at some stage, because yesterday I did the desk look. And on my live, I did the dream look. So I'll do the day today, and then I'll do the date look at the weekend sometime. Okay, so let's get going, shall we? Okay, I'm back. I know. I just thought, while I'm doing my swatches, and before I get ready, I might as well put a dry sheet mask on because my skin is tired and needs it. So I hope I don't distract you too much, but I thought I'd give you all a laugh. I know, it's so Hannibal Lecter, isn't it? Anyway, let's get on. I hope you can take me seriously while I wear my dry sheet mask. And this is the beauty of the dry sheet mask, ladies. You can do anything in it other than open the door to the postman. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Okay, so I went through all the palettes, okay, on the every single palette that I have, including the Glowgasm palettes, Lovegasm palettes, whatever, and also the instant looking of palettes. And you will take me seriously in a minute. You'll get used to it. Don't worry. Yeah. Liver. I'm having liver for dinner. Okay, so starting off, I went through the 12 pan palettes, and I looked at the first instant eye palette. And let me just get the first instant eye palette, the one that I call the curry palette, okay? Because it smells of curry. And I know that you were all laughing when I said that, but it is true. It smells of curry. I'm just going to cover it with the box. Now, there was nothing really that similar in there. The Enhance and the Smoke shade was similar, but not the same as the Prime in and Enhance of the Date Eye. So let me just show you that eye. So the Prime and Enhance of the Date Eye is here. And then these ones. But they're not exactly the same. So let me just show you. So let me do the Enhance and the Smoke shade of the Curry palette. And of course, this is getting quite old now, so the pigment's gone from it anyway. And then here is the Prime and Enhance shade. And by the way, I haven't got dirty fingernails. I've just been swatching all morning and I need to clean under my nails now. So you can see that they're similar-ish, but not exactly the same. All right, so that was that palette. And then moving on, I'm going to leave the next one that I tried till last because I've got more to say on that. So I'm going to move on to Starry Eyes to Hypnotize. Okay, let me get Starry Eyes to Hypnotize. So that is this blue palette here. Okay, now the Smoke of Happy Glow is similar to the prime shade of the Desk Eye. Okay, so if I hold these up like this, you will see what I mean. So the prime shade of the the Smoke shade of Happy Glow is similar to the prime shade of the Date Eye, but they're not exactly the same. So I'm just going to swatch you those. So here is the Smoke shade of Happy Glow. I've just put that on. I had to retake this. And then here is the prime shade of the Date Eye. They are quite similar. But that's the only one in that palette that was similar. Okay? So let's move on to the Icon palette. Okay, if you recall, when I did my live first impression of Pillow Talk Instant Eye Palette, I kept saying that there was a particular shade here that reminded me of something. Let me just show you this one. I just need to keep covering the mirror. This one here reminded me of something. And I said I thought it was from the Icon palette. And I was right. So let me just show you. So this one here in the Icon palette. Now, it's very similar, this one, to the Dream Enhance. So I'm going to swatch you those two together. So this is the Icon palette. And then I will get you the Dream Enhance. Not the same, but similar. And let me just show you the Dream Prime shade as well. Sort of similar spectrum, but not exactly the same. Yeah, I think I meant the prime one. You can see they're quite similar. So there's definitely that, but that again was the only one that was similar in the Icon palette. All right, so we're going to move on. Okay, so the Charlotte Darling palette, which as you know is sort of stars in your eyes as well. Just in general, I would say that the matte shades in here are quite similar to the Date Eye. So here is the Date Eye. The Date Eye and some of the Desk Eye are sort of similar-ish hues to some of the matte shades. Can you see that in there? But they're not the same. So I'm just going to do some swatches again of those together so that you can see. So first of all, I'll swatch the matte shades in Charlotte Darling on my hands. So we have that one. We have that one. And we have that one. That's Charlotte Darling, okay? And then I'm just going to roll up my sleeves. I was literally covered in swatches earlier. And then I will swatch you the matte shades of the Pillow Talk palette, the new Pillow Talk palette. So there's that one. That one. Oh, that didn't swatch very well. Let's try that again. That one. That one. That one. That one. That one. And lastly, that one. So you see, that's Charlotte Darling, and these are Pillow Talk. Similar-ish, but again, not the same. All right? Now, I have got some, one palette that I definitely want to home in on in a minute, but we're not quite there yet. Okay, so we have, I need to get a box again. We have Glowgasm, which is the darker of the two face palettes. This shade here is very similar, very close to the enhanced shade of the Day Eye, which is here. So I'm going to swatchy those two together so that you can see those. The Pot Blush of Glowgasm, and here is the enhanced shade of the Day Eye. Similar, but again, not quite the same. But when I said to you, when I did the live, that it's these shimmery warm ones here and here that are going to be the ones that are most likely to match, I was right. My first instincts were right. Okay, but I've talked about the shimmery shades. Now I want to talk about the matte shades a little bit more. Okay, now when I was doing my first impression, I said to you that these matte shades reminded me of Sophisticate because they're brown mattes. But however, when you look at them next to one another, and I've got some photos because I took some photos as I was swatching of this, but they're actually a lot cooler, the browns. These are warm browns and those are cooler browns. Okay, so they actually look quite different, and I'm going to put that picture here. Okay, now I deliberately left this palette to last, which is Stars in Your Eyes. And the reason for that is because I think that this one is the most similar in tones, just in general, to the new Pillow Talk palette. Okay, just in general. Now, I made some notes, so I'm just going to take you through my notes, and then I'm going to show you the swatches of each palette side by side so that you can see them in their entirety. And I'll also put all of these on Instagram because I know that sometimes it's difficult because the screen has to move down all the swatches, so you can't always see them side by side, but I'll do my best. Okay, so the prime shade of Confident Eyes, which is this one here, is very similar to the enhanced shade of the Day Eye, which is the one that I've just shown you, the enhanced shade of the Day Eye, which is this one here. Okay, and then the smoke shade of Happy Eyes is the same, I thought, as the smoke shade of Date Eyes. So the smoke shade of Happy Eyes is this one here, and I think that's the same as the smoke shade in the Date Eyes, which is this one here. And then the prime shade, lastly, of Happy Eyes, prime shade of Happy Eyes, which is this one here. Is very similar to the prime shade of Dream Eyes, which is this one here. Now, if I hold these two palettes together for a minute, I think you'll see what I'm getting at. If you've got Stars in Your Eyes, they're sort of on a similar spectrum. Oops, don't drop the palettes, please, don't drop the palettes. But you've got a lot more shimmers in Stars in Your Eyes, and you've got these purple hues. Okay, so, and you've got sort of more peaches and more mattes in Pillow Talk. I'm just going to move that back so that you can see that. Cover my face up and you can see the two palettes together. So if you've got Stars in Your Eyes, you might want to think hard about whether you need this palette. Although you've got the raspberry tones here and you've got the purple tones here, it's not exactly the same, but similar-ish tones to put on your eyes. Okay, that is the main one I would say that is similar. All right, now I'm going to put you the swatch of those two side by side, and then I'm just going to put you a swatch of the Pillow Talk, which you'll have seen at the beginning of this video again, so that you can have a look at that here. So the sound has gone again on this. So all I'm saying is I'm going to take this mask off now so that you can see my face as I do the conclusion. It always feels like you're putting nothing on your skin, but when you take it off, it feels so moisturised. It's drunk all that in. So I'm going to put that away because you can use it 3 times. And there was a deal on, I think she stopped it now. But if you spent so much money, then you basically got a free mask. So I've got a few now, so I can do that when I'm cooking or when I'm doing anything else. So the reason I wanted to take the mask off was to basically say to you, to talk about who this palette is for. Because I think I'm very much aware from the comments. You know, I've got a makeup channel and I put money aside, but even I'm struggling right now to keep up with all Charlotte's new releases. And I think that's what I'm picking up from the messages, is people are trying desperately to prioritise what they need, because it's, you know, our palettes are not cheap. And they're all so tempting. And, you know, I've got a good excuse now to just collect the lot, but it is difficult, and it's after Christmas, and some of you are thinking, do I need this palette? So I've just been having a think about who I think would really like this palette. I think if you're not really into matte shades, then I would go for other palettes, because you've got quite a few matte shades here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? 8 out of 12 are matte shades in this palette. So you're only going to get 4 shimmers. So if you're really into shimmers and you don't use mattes a lot in your eye look, then that's one way, I think, to work out whether or not you want it. The other thing is, interestingly, when I was swatching, they didn't compare to the Pillow Talk palette at all. And I was really looking, and the Pillow Talk palette of Pops doesn't compare to any of these shades. So if you've got Pillow Talk and you really like Pillow Talk, and you've got Pillow Talk palette of Pops, do not be afraid of getting this palette, because you're not going to get... Obviously, they're sort of pinky hues, but you're not going to get duplicate shades at all. So if you're really into Pillow Talk and you bought all things Pillow Talk, then this is definitely the palette for you, because you're not going to double up. If you've got stars in your eyes, it's very similar in terms of tones, but you've got a lot more matte shades in here than you have in stars in your eyes. So if you like these tones but you prefer more shimmers, then hopefully you'll have bought stars in your eyes, because I don't think they sell it anymore. But if you like those tones of stars in your eyes but you were a bit overwhelmed by all the shimmers, then again, this is a palette for you. All right, now bear in mind that Charlotte is bringing out a blue palette, and I've heard that she's also, as she did with the Rebel palette, the reimagined Rebel palette, she's updating her Glamour Muse palette as well. So that's something else to factor in terms of priorities. If you're desperate, as I am, for the blue palette, then you might want to skip this for a while. Now, it does say it's a limited edition. And obviously, I can't say it's not going to be a limited edition, because I don't work for Charlotte Tilbury. And there's always this fear of missing out. It's a very good sales tactic. But what I will say is, A lot of the Pillow Talk products were limited edition when they came out, and they became so popular, sold out so quickly that they became part of a permanent range. Now that doesn't mean to say that this is a guarantee that this will be, but just bear that in mind, that a lot of the things that have started out as her lipstick, Pillow Talk lipstick, started out as a limited edition, and I think her blush did as well. So it may not be limited for that long if it sells out, but you have to take that risk. If you really are afraid of missing out, then they've got you on the sales and the marketing, which is what they've got me on as well. You know, hands up, I'm a sucker for Charlotte Tilbury, and I don't claim to be anything else. If you like these raspberry shades, again, this is a really good palette. I can see those looking really nice on blue eyes. Really nice contrast with blue. Just because of the raspberry pink, I can just see it on blue eyes, making blue eyes pop because it'll be really good contrast. If you like sophisticate matte shades, but you found them a little bit too cool, then you've got that in here. You've got some warmer matte shades. So, you know, a brown palette's a brown palette, but it is a little bit warmer and just warmer than sophisticate. And then there's the peachy shades, which I think look nice for spring. And then, of course, the day eye, which is what I'm going to finish off by doing. So I hope this has been helpful. If there's anything I haven't answered, I'm pretty sure I haven't missed out any palettes. I've gone through them all, including the instant look in a palettes. But if there's anything I've missed out or I haven't answered or you want to ask, please leave a comment below. And now I'm going to do a very quick run through on fast forward of the day eye. So I'm off to put my foundation on and I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, I've done my base and I've also put on some Filmstar Bronze and Glow. So I'm now going to do a very quick look using the day look, and I'm going to go in first of all with the prime shade of the day eye. I like this prime shade because it's actually quite warm but still light. Okay, and then the enhanced shade. And then the smoke shade. Okay, I'm going to take the smoke shade and the enhanced shade and run that underneath. And I'm going to take the prime shade and use that as a highlighter. And that's it, but I'm just going to feel like I want a pop on my lids today. So I'm going to just swap over very quickly to my Pillow Talk palette of pops. And I'm going to go for this shade here and put that over the top of my mobile lid. Okay, I'm going to do my eyeliner and mascara and I'll be right back. I've done my brows, by the way. Okay, a bit of swish and pop. I'm just going to mix them together. And this is Pillow Talk. Chic to Chic blush. Very good at warming up your complexion. And then I'm going to take Pillow Talk lip liner, which I've just put down somewhere. Here we are. And I'm going to make sure I fill them in completely. Now, the reason I wanted to make sure I filled them in completely is because I'm going to use Lucky Diamonds Pillow Talk, and it's got glitter in it, and if I don't apply liner all over my lips, I get sore lips from this lipstick, but I'm fine if I put liner underneath. So this is Lucky Diamonds. I like that. I'd forgotten about that one. Haven't worn it for a while, but I have a feeling I will in the next few days. And then if you want, I'm just going to put a little dab of Pillow Talk lip gloss right in the centre for a bit of extra shine. And that is my look for today. I haven't put any highlighter on, I just realised. Hold on, a little bit of highlighter. And there you have it. Which one is it? It's called the Day Look. The Day Look Pillow Talk Instant Eye Palette. Thank you for joining me, and thanks for sitting through such a long video, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Love you all. Mwah!